need to know our secrets.
Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is Daniel.
And we're here today for another episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Woo! Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
Glad to be here today.
Y'all look great.
Woo!
No, not you guys.
Oh. Aw. Sadness.
Audience, you look great.
The audience is beautiful. Love our audience. So, we'll just dive right in. So, I have a very, very upsetting story.
Oh.
So, okay. Here's the deal. I'm big on physical media. Yes, everyone knows.
No, we've never covered this before.
I know. Can't hold it, you don't own it. That's just true across the board. So, a couple weeks back, my wife M, she was messaging me and she was like, "Have you heard about this thing?" And I was like, "Well, is that this?" And she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "No, I haven't, but that sucks." So apparently there's this thing called DVD rot.
Excuse me?
DVD rot.
DVD rot.
DVD rot. Okay.
Rot. R-O-T. DVD.
Got it.
Rot.
Like decay.
Like decay. Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So there were these series of discs from like 2004 to 2008 put out by WB that were made in like Mexico. And nothing is wrong. Like, nothing looks like it's wrong with the disc. It looks like it should play fine. But it will glitch. Like, it will, like, stop being able to be read, like, halfway through.
No.
So this is a thing that now my one bastion of reality and hope for, like, you know, maintaining a collection, like, no matter what, is, like, being ripped away from me slowly. Because, like, this is a thing that can happen. And I don't know how I feel about it. But it gets better. It gets better.
All right.
So there's this thing back in the day called Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I know.
Yep.
Love it.
I'm a big fan. I know Matt loves it. Ryan loves it. Daniel, I don't know, like, your exposure to Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah,
but
it's good. It's
Okay.
a thing.
Okay.
It exists.
So I love Mystery Science Theater 3000. The guys who are some of the guys who were original people on that show back in the late 90s started this other thing that they've been doing for the last 20 plus years called riff tracks, where they will do like more modern movies, and you can watch the movie and just play the riff on your phone. Or at the time, it was like when they started, it was just like you'd buy the MP3 and you'd play it on your computer. But now you've got it on your phone now.
Move with the times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we bought a riff of the movie 300.
Makes sense.
Which, you know.
There's some quotable bits in there.
Yeah. So we were like, great, we own that on DVD.
On a DVD that was made in Mexico.
Made in Mexico. Somewhere around, you know,
Mid-2000s.
2007.
Nailed it.
Mercy.
And so, like, I put the DVD into the Xbox Series X, and it says, "Can't read this."
No.
And I put it into the PlayStation 4, and it says, "Can't read this."
No.
Then I put it in the Blu-ray player in our bedroom.
And it magically worked.
And it worked.
No way.
It did. And I was like,
Awesome.
okay, we're good.
That's awesome.
Get about halfway through the movie.
Can't do this to me. You can't do this to me.
Oh, and it was such a good riff, too. Oh, it was so funny. But you know what I did?
What'd you do?
You know what I did?
What'd you did?
I bought a digital copy of 300.
Of course you
Who
did,
are
Josh.
you?
Of course you did.
So that I could finish watching my riff tracks. So
Man, I'll be honest. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term creepypasta. If you are, I'm sorry. Don't be. But this really does remind me of like some copy paste garbage that would go around on the internet in the early 2000s.
it's true.
Is like, man, that's brutal.
I know, right? It's absolutely 100% true. And the funny thing was, it happened the same day.
Like that you found out
like,
about it.
M messages me about DVD rot, and I'm like she basically asked, like, do you know what DVD rot is? And I was like, is that where like your DVDs decay and stop working? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, no, I've never heard of that. But I mean, based on
context clues.
Yeah. And so I was like, that's crazy. And then it just so happened that like that very night, it was the wildest thing. It was the wildest thing.
I've been having lots of experiences like that lately where I feel like, all right, they're not trying very hard on the Matrix anymore because I just learned about DVD rot today, and then it happened to me. They're not trying anymore.
The Matrix is broken. Absolutely. We got to reset. Let's go back to the late 2000 or the late 99s. 90s.
The machine said it's the peak of our civilization.
I think they were probably right.
R.I.P. the 90s.
You know, I don't know.
Good times.
It was some good times. So, anyway, that's my fun, anecdotal, sad, depressing story.
Josh had to buy digital. That is depressing.
And to be honest with you, I do have a pretty vast a library of digital videos. So I won't buy anything at full price though. So even with $300, it was like I got like a sale of like it was like $5. So basically the price of a rental.
That's the thing that doesn't make sense about digital is when it's the exact same as physical. It's like
yeah,
no.
I will have the digital copy after I'll use the digital copy that I get with the thing that I buy.
Yeah.
Or if I can find it for like $5, I will buy it. And so I'm on a mailing list, so I get emails from this company that's like, hey, buy this movie or buy 3 movies for $5 a piece, and I'll do those deals, for digital stuff, because like it's the same as renting the movie, right?
Right.
Like, I'm just paying to rent the movie, and I get to hang on to it as long as the digital library is open, and if it closes, I paid to rent the movie.
Yeah.
So that's how it works out.
I
in my
agree.
head.
I agree.
But now I do have to find a physical copy of 300 that isn't the DVD. Like that's the thing. Now I'm like terrified to like buy a used, because it would be a used copy, right? Yeah. Like I'm probably not gonna find a new copy of 300 anywhere. So if I buy a used copy of 300, like
is it gonna be
probably
the same?
It's probably gonna have DVD, right? It's probably not gonna work. So
you can find anything on Amazon.
Maybe I can find a Blu-ray.
What's funny is I feel like, even if this was never actually stated, I feel like DVD was kind of put against VHS as like, we're the medium that doesn't decay as easily.
Right.
We're the medium that lasts, that you don't have to worry about Super Bowls getting overwritten in the basements of...
Exactly. It wasn't stated, but like we all knew, right? Like...
Yeah.
You can't have your the film or whatever pulled out or destroyed or whatever.
And it was sun exposure.
Your VHS
dank
player,
basements.
like your VCR, is not going to eat your tape.
Yeah.
Which we've all experienced that, except for Daniel.
I had Blockbuster. I suffered. I used to pencil to wind a VHS back before I realized they had machines to do that for you.
Be kind. Rewind.
Absolutely.
Every time. Shame on you if you didn't.
Absolutely.
Looking at you, audience. Behave.
Okay, so this is a really sad story about me.
Josh, what's with the sad stories?
I don't know. Like this is just depressingly sad. Like as like you were really that like sad of a child. So I had in my bedroom I had 2 VCRs actually, but there were reasons for that. That we'll get into later. We'll explain later, and we may have covered that before. But anyway, so I would watch movies a lot at my house when I was in high school, and it was all VHS at that point. So I would watch a movie, and I'd be doing whatever, like building Legos or working on homework or whatever in my room, and then when the movie was over, rather than rewinding it in the VCR, I had a car that was a rewinder. Like it had it had this thing that like popped up.
Yes.
Like in the front, and you put the VHS in, close it, and it would just rewind automatically.
Yeah.
Here for it.
So I would rather than waiting for it to rewind, like I would be watching like Lord of the Rings or something like that, rather than waiting for, you know, the 3 hours of Fellowship to rewind, take it out, put it into that, put in Two Towers, and continue my viewing.
Yeah.
While that's rewinding on a different device.
I don't think this is sad at all. We had one of those. It wasn't a cool car,
Yeah.
but we had the VCR, and then sitting just to the right of it was a rewind machine, and you just pop it in there, and
I don't know. It seemed a little like that's, you know, a little too I don't know what's the word, meticulous about it. Like rather than, you know, it wouldn't have taken any time for the thing to rewind, right? Like,
I mean, I'd say it's a first world problem, but I feel like for that we need iPhones and Starbucks.
yeah,
So
fair
true.
enough.
you dodged a bullet there.
True.
All right. Well, it's August.
It is August. It's the end of August.
It is the end of August, so do we have any other fun stories? Anything else going on? You know, it's almost September. Football's coming back.
Oh my gosh! I knew you were gonna say it. I'm so excited for that.
You don't like football, do you? So I had some fun experiences because my kids are getting a little bit more independent with their bikes, getting a little bit more independent with our proximity to their school. So in order to, you know, keep them safe, I found myself wondering sometimes, man, why don't you guys have phones so I can find you when you're off wandering the neighborhood? And then I remembered, oh yeah, you guys don't need phones.
No.
Right this second. That would be terrible. But I got a deal on some walkie-talkies, and I was like, you know what?
Nice.
This could be fun.
It's like Nokia all over again.
Literally. I kind of want to run it over with my car just to check. Just for my peace of mind. Like, that something in this world still has permanence, unlike DVDs. And so we're going through walkie-talkie etiquette. Like, okay, push the button, say your piece, say over at the end so we know you're done talking. If you hear what someone says, you say copy, you know, the fun stuff. So we get through, and one of them keeps radioing in and saying, "Daddy, I like you." Over. A couple minutes later, "Daddy, I just really love you." Over. "Daddy, I think you're nice." Okay, I think that is very sweet. Thank you. Keep the channel clear.
Keep the channel clear.
So then the next one I get is, "Daddy, there's a ladybug on my pedal." Over. and I mean, what else are you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Copy that over and out. They've been fun.
I wish you could use that on your headset playing against like other people. Keep the channel clear.
Keep the channel clear.
Keep the channel clear. Like that, I don't feel like that would work, but like, you know, the bratty little children.
Simply the 13-year-old you're playing Call of Duty with.
Right. Keep the channel clear.
It would be fun.
You don't know my parents. Leave them out of this.
It would be fun to just get in a Call of Duty lobby and just like when the chatter gets really going, just like, guys, keep the channel clear. Like, you know,
That would be amazing. Oh my goodness, that would be nice. That would be very cool. Oh man, Ryan, do you have anything fun and interesting that's gone on over the last couple weeks?
not really.
Okay,
Just living
living your life, living your best life.
my best life.
All right. Well, since you don't have any fun stories, why don't we talk about some news?
Woo!
It's the end of August, and that means that it's news time for the
News
month of
time.
August. So, first thing that I want to talk about, and this gets into why I had 2 VHS players.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna get the answer.
In my
We're
room.
gonna get sad. I'm ready. I prepared.
Well, it's not sad. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. So, I found out on Facebook that there is a new Guinness World Record.
Yes, I love
Okay.
these.
Okay.
Ibrahim Al Nasser from Saudi Arabia
Oh yes.
has connected over 400 different games consoles to one television.
Oh my Lanta.
Over 400 different game consoles connected to one television. It's glorious.
How long did it last before the whole room caught on fire?
I don't know. I didn't want, I just thought that was the so The reason I had 2 VCRs in my bedroom was because I needed them to hook up all of my game consoles to my one television.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I got you now.
Yes, I channeled one VCR into the other through a coaxial.
Yep.
And used the RCA plugs for the for one of the consoles, and then I had a switcher plugged into the other one.
100% with you.
So
coaxials were just a fun piece of technology. I will say, I forgot that you told me this. I remember when Josh found this out, and the word that comes to mind is giddy.
Yeah.
He was so excited.
Well, that was when I was re-hooking up the my PlayStation a couple episodes back when I was hooking up the PS2 to a CRT TV that I couldn't push the input button on, so I had to get the VCR out.
Yep.
But yeah, I had 2 VCRs so that I could have every console that I owned in high school hooked up. So I had a daisy chain of coaxial cables, and then I had a coaxial going into to one VCR, and then the other VCR was hooked in through the coaxial to that VCR, RCA into that one, and then an RCA for the switcher into the second VCR. It was amazing.
Good times.
It was amazing. So
a work of art.
So all that to say, Ibrahim, hats off to you, sir.
400
consoles, and that's honestly, it's one of my dreams is to literally just be able to sit down and just turn on, have all of my consoles, be able to turn on any one of them at one point and it just come on the TV without any issues.
Just there.
I really, really, really would love to see it happen.
And to you fine manufacturers of hardware out there in the interwebs, if you do stuff, Josh likes stuff, and you would make his day.
Yeah.
If you would sponsor him in his dream.
I actually have an idea for a device that would actually work to make this a thing, and it would help video game collectors everywhere. I just don't know how to implement it. So seriously, if you are a manufacturer, I have an idea and it's brilliant. You will make money, I promise.
I'd buy one.
Yeah, right. I'd buy 7. But anyway,
so the first thought I have about this story is, was there a previous Guinness record?
That's an excellent question.
And he was like, "Oh, the record is $3.99. Well, I have to do 400 then." Or has this never been measured before for the Guinness record, and so he just
did it.
Went for whatever. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because if that's the case, then I probably at one point could have held.
At one point, you would have been the record holder.
I would have been the record holder with my 10 consoles or whatever. But and then I'm just trying to think 400 consoles. Are they all different?
Okay, that was my next question.
Did you go to the mall and be like, "Hey, I need 400 Xboxes," and they're like, "Yeah."
We'd be happy to sell you 400 Xboxes.
And I guess they are, but I get I don't know if they're all I didn't do any research into it. I just saw the headline and I was like, "Holy crap, that's amazing!"
I'm just thinking, if you combine what are we on, Gen 8 of consoles? If you got one of everything from the last 8 generations of video game consoles, that's 60 consoles?
Well, and so my only guess is, and what from the picture I'm seeing, it looks like he might have multiple of the same thing, but they're different versions of it. So for the PS5, he has the disc system and the non-disc system. And for got
the OLED Switch and the Zelda Switch and the Mario Switch.
Are these, the next question then is, are these, okay, he might have, 2 Switches, but they're OLED and the original. Right. Are they 400 unique game systems?
No, just 400 total systems.
Total. So he might have 10, Nintendo 64s that are all the same, just...
Yeah, I don't
plugged in there.
Every Nintendo 64 is its own special butterfly.
No argument here.
But let's see. So the mini version, the PS3 and the PS3 Mini and the PS2 and the PS2 Mini.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by unique. Like, is each one a unique thing, or does he have 10 PS2 Minis and 10 PS2s?
I think yes. I think he does have a unique. Like, each thing is unique. I think.
I'm so impressed. I'm impressed either way. That's awesome.
I'm not going to do this, but I kind of want to tally like what's been produced in these last 30, 35 years.
Well, I mean, you also have to think like all of the consoles that were made that were just like flops, like the 3DO and like all of like what was the one that the Zelda games came out on? That was like that Nintendo was like, yeah, you can make a Zelda game, and then it was like absolute trash, and they were like, oh god.
When was this?
This is like in the like 90s. Oh my gosh, you poor depraved child.
I'm just seeing a lot of Game Boy.
No, yeah,
me too.
We'll have to. Yeah, I'll have to look up some videos. for
Research
you guys.
department will get back.
Yeah,
to
I will have to. I'll have to get some videos of that and show that.
Because I remember there was like the Virtual Boy that was like kind of around the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah. Weird, strange thing.
But yeah, no, there was another like it was Panasonic, I think, that made a console that made Zelda games on their console. So it wasn't a Nintendo console that the games were on, and it was just a complete and utter disaster. Like Star Wars Holiday Special levels of bad.
Whoa, that's
like really, really bad.
I want to say I unironically enjoy the Star Wars Holiday Special, but that would be a lie. I very ironically enjoy it.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's.
I have tried watching that multiple times. I have not finished it. Like, I get lost somewhere with Grandpa and the virtual reality headset. So, like,
fair.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I'm just done. Like,
Josh, you've had a birthday in the last 6 months, so like, I think the next time that you have a birthday, we should maybe force you to watch it.
Yeesh. I don't know about that.
I mean, I've already got game debt, so we might as well get you a movie debt.
All right. Well, anyway, 400 consoles on one TV is, to me, just absolutely incredible. And
masterful work.
Yes, beautiful,
awesome.
Beautiful stuff.
So awesome.
Great stuff. So, anyway, I have lots of other news, but I'll let someone else, if anyone else wants to bring... Ryan, you said you had something. Do you want to save that for later? You had something that you wanted to share that you really wanted to know if we knew about.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. So, let's see. By the time our listeners hear this will be about a week and a half, 2 weeks old. But Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, the big wig at Xbox,
yes,
has recently announced that the Indiana Jones game,
yes,
that we talked about a few episodes ago,
yes,
Xbox exclusive, Game Pass, all that stuff, is going to release on the PS5.
Of course.
And as they say, fatality.
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
And
that's about face.
At Gamescom, which is again about a week ago, if you're listening to this the day it releases, he was asked about it, and his answer was essentially, we are a business and we have to make money. So basically it's they got to sell copies of their game, and they know that if it goes to Xbox only, the only people who are going to play it are Game Pass.
Yep.
And this really, the reason I'm mentioning this is it really just goes back to what we keep talking about, how they're just getting away from hardware, and they're going to be a software company. And like,
all they're going to do is make video games, and that's why they're buying all these companies, and Sony is going to stop making consoles. Yep. This is like the 4th or 5th episode in a row that I've said Nintendo wins again. Like, that's it.
I mean, if we'd stop getting confirmations, it would stop having to say it.
Right.
So Josh and I talked about this game, I'm going to say like maybe 3 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Xbox had their like halfway through the year showcase of what's coming up, and it was all they talked about 5 games, and all 5 of them were Xbox exclusives because that's their showcase. And we talked about how this game, like, we were just very skeptical about this game, but it was one of their exclusives coming up, and now it's not.
It's not. But
so
speaking of that one, I can't remember what it's called, but I saw today, actually, the day that we're recording this, that game is actually supposedly a direct sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, so it like picks up. It's supposed to be picking up where that leaves off.
Interesting.
Which could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also,
there's a lot of empty spaces between the official media that
yes,
you can fill. That makes sense.
That's true. Also, I did watch a riff tracks of Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull last night. And can I just reiterate how terrible that movie is? Like, even with commentary, like comedic commentary, it was very difficult to get through that 2 hours.
Okay, but the question is, did you watch it on a DVD that had DVD rot?
No, I did not. I did not. I streamed it on Disney Plus. So I do have that DVD though. So I don't know if it's got DVD.
Wait, there are riff tracks on Disney Plus?
Well, no, like the movie's on Disney Plus, and then I own the riff tracks, so it plays on my phone. The riff tracks plays on my phone.
It's all coming together. Okay.
Anyway, moving on from riff tracks and Indiana Jones, but Xbox. We are constantly getting confirmation.
Yeah, so I'd be so very surprised if they make another console. It seems to me like
it is continually sounding like
they have purchased a ton of studios and they're just going to be software makers, which, I mean, hey, it's Microsoft, so can't be too surprised. But
right. Well, interesting.
Halo on the Switch. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
let's do it.
I have little doubt that at some point, like, Halo will be on a Nintendo console at this point.
That'd be wild.
Like, can you imagine, like, the Master Chief Collection on the Switch?
On Switch.
Like, come on. Like, why not at this point?
I'm here for it.
I am 100% here for it.
That'd be wild.
And then
that would be wild.
I would love to play Halo Reach on the Switch. That'd be so much fun.
That would be a great Switch game.
Yeah, I know,
It'd be a perfect Switch game.
So, and here's the thing with that. We were talking about, like, the 13-year-olds and the chatter and the garbage talk and all that. Nintendo will not put up with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Nintendo doesn't deal in that kind of, arena. So, like, being able to play, like, multiplayer, like, without having to deal with that, man, that would be beautiful.
Marvelous.
I mean, granted, you do want to be able to talk to your teammates, but, like, without having to deal with, like, all the trash talk, oh, man, that could be, I think, I'm feeling...
It's like the video game equivalent of, like, a gated retirement community.
It is.
Where do I sign the lease?
That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, man. So, let's see. Another, in other news, another really cool thing. I don't know if this is... I don't know how I feel about this yet. Age of Empires has announced that there is a mobile version coming out on October 31st.
My first reaction is suspicion and apprehension.
Right. So there was a mobile Age of Empires at one point that was kind of like Clash of Clans clone. And I played for a while, but this seems a little bit different. I'm not sure. You can pre-download it right now, but it releases on October 31st. And so, like, that's just one of those weird things. Like, I don't know.
That is interesting.
They lost me at Age of Empires 3. Like, that was such a strange game in comparison to what I was used to.
Yes.
I quit.
Age of Empires. So Age of Empires 3 tried to do some different things. I like Age of Empires 3. But 2 is like the pinnacle of, like, Age of Empires 2 is the pinnacle, which I've shared on here before. Now, Age of Empires 4, which I've also talked about on here, which is available, or at one point was available on Game Pass. I assume it still is.
It is as of like a month ago because I saw it on there last time I looked.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. But Age of Empires 4 did the really cool thing of taking all of the best elements of Age of Empires 2 and all of the best elements of, which, let's be honest, where it was basically the entire game, and adding in the best elements of Age of Empires 3.
So I quit too early is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Fair.
Age of Empires 4 is pretty solid. Granted, I did not pour a ton of hours into it because I was playing mostly by myself. And the best thing about Age of Empires is playing with my buddies back home that I grew up, playing Age of Empires. Well, not really grew up with, but played Age of Empires with a lot.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a good LAN party?
Yeah, exactly.
Whew, great times.
So and every now and then I'll still try to get together with them and play Age of Empires 2, which I've mentioned on here before because I love Age of Empires. Great game. But again, not sure about how the mobile game is going to work. There are some videos out there that kind of show it off, but I'm skeptical at best, and we'll see how it plays out. So, that was another thing. Daniel, what have you got? Anything interesting?
So it's been a while since we've had a GameStop story, and
It's true.
I really like our local GameStop most of the time. Really, I was really sad the last time I went in there and their Nintendo Switch section was like decimated, but that's beside the point. I have a Game Pro.
Yes.
I pay for the stuffs.
You pay for the stuffs. Yes.
And part of that included a Game Informer subscription because I grew up reading Game Informer. That was like something that my parents paid for my brother and I to have, and it's cool. Like, get to flip through, cool pictures, cool interviews, and news, whatever. They're killing it.
Yes.
This is late. This is like 2 weeks old, from what I can tell. But Game Informer's dead.
Game Informer is officially dead. GameStop has decided
sad face.
they are not going to continue publishing.
I just feel bad about it. Don't get me wrong. The digital delivery was garbage.
Yes.
Not enjoyable whatsoever.
No.
Paying for the physical
Was stupid.
Stupid. And I'd occasionally go in and buy a back issue if it was sitting on the counter and looked interesting. But despite the fact that I did not make heavy use of my Game Informer subscription, I liked having it.
Right.
I would continue to have paid money to have it. For them to be able to write, for good game journalism to exist, and we're not doing that anymore.
No.
The biggest downside too was not only that they're kind of shuttering this project, it's that they killed the archives. The Game Informer website had 10 years of back issues available on it, and they're just gone.
What?
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
Why?
So this may still be something you can access through Internet Archive or some other
there's got to be some way
that.
But the internet is forever.
It just seemed like such a weird take. Granted, as we've discussed already, business is business. You have to make money, but my thoughts on this is if you're a business and you want to make your customers happy, inconvenience them somewhere that actually makes you money so that you can give them some of these quality of life things on your own dime.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a number of industries I have beef about this with, and now video games are getting added to this list. You're why inconvenience customer quality of life to save a buck when you could find that somewhere else?
Yeah. That's probably true. No, that is it's stupid. I don't understand. It can't cost them that much to put that out digitally. Even okay, fine. Fire half your writers, have 2 guys that write articles on
get a couple of graphic designers,
2 articles a month.
Editor.
You don't have to do a full out magazine
or pivot.
Yeah.
Like if the e-zine format does not work for you, figure out how to make that into a blog worth reading.
Right.
Build the web presence. You've got the writers on staff.
Exactly.
Like, take that ground.
Exactly.
But to me, it just seems like it's a huge strategic loss to lose this is gonna sound a little strange, an organ of communication.
Yeah.
Like you had the potential to make that a really strong social media brand, a really strong blog presence, and instead we're just gonna close up shop and figure something else out. This is kind of going back to like the struggle of in-person physical media versus stuff being in the cloud, and I get it. GameStop's had to change a lot in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yes.
Like, they sell phones now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I almost bought a phone off Gamestop.com.
Nice. Nice.
But it's weird. Like, they're having to do more things, but I don't think it should be at the expense of like kind of their core identity.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So I will pivot off of that to something positive that GameStop has done in the last month, and that is GameStop Retro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes. So apparently there are GameStops out there now that are retro GameStops where you can buy like retro games. I don't know what that means exactly. I haven't made my way to the local retro GameStop, which I intend to at some point soon.
Where is what's the distance to the closest one?
Like 15 minutes.
What?
Yeah, it's in
There's one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. So it is not far from where we are.
Is it the one where we got Zelda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So again, I don't know exactly what that means, but I have had a positive experience with GameStop recently. As I have mentioned, I have been playing a lot of Rock Band lately. And so I had never played Rock Band 3, and Rock Band 3 came out on the Wii, which is what I have all of my Rock Band gear for. So I bought Rock Band 3 from Game Exchange in Alabama. It was one of the games that I got. And when I put it in to play it recently, it didn't work.
No.
DVD rot.
It wasn't DVD rot. It was just a busted game, which is lame. But I don't have my receipt, and so I'm working like with Game Exchange, like trying to get in touch with the place that I bought it at to get the transaction number and all of this stuff. Anyway, it's really complicated and really stupid. But I got on GameStop.com and was just looking through, and it turns out they actually had like Wii games still for sale on the website, and they had a copy of Rock Band 3.
Interesting.
So I bought a copy of Rock Band 3 from GameStop, and it worked perfectly. And it's like in great shape, and looks like the case looks great, and everything's wonderful about it. So it's like, oh, okay. So like, I am very curious about how this retro, like, to me, this is we're talking about business moves. Like, this is a brilliant business move on GameStop's part, where it's like, hey, like, there is a huge market out there for retro gaming. Like, people want this stuff, and we've just been so focused on modern stuff and what's coming out, like, we've got to be like, and so like we're like, they like would just shed all of their old stuff so quickly, it felt like, and now they're like, oh wait, we've got all of these other like secondhand shops that are all over the place that are selling this retro stuff. Like, what? We're the biggest game company in the world. What are we doing with our time?
So it's really funny that you mentioned that they shed the old stuff so quickly. I have a like core memory of this happening in real time, because I don't know why I did this, but I bought and sold the same game back to GameStop like 4 times. It was Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 for the Game Boy. And I don't know what was going through my head, because I love this game. I absolutely love this game. So I would get it, I'd play it, beat it, sell it back to GameStop, and then I'd be just in there a couple weeks later and be like, I want that back, and I'd buy it. And like, let me tell you, the 3rd or 4th time that I like sold this back, you'd think it'd be like, yeah, no, I'm finally good. Or I would have thought, maybe I don't do this. Maybe I keep this game. I remember when they removed the Game Boy section from the store.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no. This is permanent now.
So
Fate has decided.
Oh, it hurts so much.
So all that to say, like, you could. I don't know what they mean by retro. Like, I haven't been in the store. I can only assume that we're talking old school stuff, like, and not just like 2 generations ago. Like, I can only assume that we're not just talking like Wii and newer.
Yeah.
Like PS2, like, you know, or like hopefully we're talking all the way back to like Atari type stuff. Like, because
I think we need a field trip.
Sure.
Trip.
Let's go
Field
right now.
trip.
We'll be back. Wait, they're probably closed.
They're close.
They're closed. Yeah. But no, I think it's a brilliant move. And that's something that they should have honestly done 15 years ago. Like,
I mean, yeah, probably.
Why on earth were they letting half-price books? Why were they letting these little, you know, pop-up shops do this when they could have been doing it?
When they owned the space.
Yeah, they own the spaces. They had the games. Like, that's the thing. They had the games. They still have the games. I remember when, like, I was in high school. I could still buy N64 games from, like, EB Games and GameStop. Like, it, and, like, when that stopped being available there, it's like, well, why? It doesn't make any sense. It's still video games. Like, why would you do that? You are the biggest game company, and it doesn't make any sense.
I miss you, Quarterback Club 2000.
Yeah, what's interesting, too, about them moving away from that is that's where their margin, that's where their profit was. The used games was their profit. Because there's no... people may not know this. There's very little profit in new consoles and new games.
Oh, yeah. I'd be surprised if it were 5%.
Yeah, no.
Like on retail.
Because the games cost so much to make. New games, especially.
I can say this. I used to work at a company that rhymes with messed my... And the markup on new games at the time was like $6 or $7. So you're talking about...
Wait, are you serious?
$60 game, the cost was $53 or something like that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Y'all,
So-
to put this in perspective, for retail clothing, the practice is to double the price from what you get it from the wholesaler.
Yeah, no.
So, like, it blows my mind that there's so little margin to the new games.
You can't, because, the games cost so much money to make. The companies making the games are not even making money on the games.
Yeah.
So, wait, wasn't there a discussion we had a while ago about, like, the price of video games being stuck for, like, the last 30 years?
Yes.
Yep.
So, like...
Excuse me.
Games are getting more expensive to make. Inflation is cutting into the value of the currency. And they're charging the same price for the games decades later.
Yes. And the technology has changed drastically.
So that was their money. That was GameStop's moneymaker. Was, I mean, we all, like, everyone knows, right? You go to sell a game at GameStop, they give you $2 for it, and then they sell it for $30. Like, that's how they made money.
Yes.
Selling new games is not how they make money.
No.
So for them to move away from that was like weird anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's just a brilliant move. I think it's the right business move for them. I think Reggie, the guy from Nintendo, is still running GameStop, and I think I could be wrong. He might have retired by now. But if he is, he's brilliant for pulling this out and going, hey, we need to be in that market, because that's really where the gamers are. Like, again, we've talked about this a lot over the last several episodes, but it's because the culture that we're in right now, video game culture is moving away from new stuff.
Yeah.
It just is. Like, the new stuff that's coming out is not long. It doesn't have any legs.
We're tired, and people will keep making sequels.
It has no longevity as it is. The only company that has longevity is Nintendo. And they're the ones who are putting out actual good games for actual, like, people who want to play video games and not people who want to play the same game over and over again, right?
Looking at you, Call of Duty.
Right. Or Assassin's Creed. Or any number, or like any number.
No, I distinctly remember that they changed the climbing animations in between Assassin's Creed games.
Right. So, what video game culture is going to be based around is going to be those core memories, those classic games that you grew up playing, and that's what people are wanting.
Yeah.
So again, that's another interesting piece of news from GameStop.
That is really interesting. That's really awesome, actually.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
I know you want it to be like, even older, and I do too. But just because you're mentioning it right now, I'm kind of realizing that myself and Josh included, I know 5 or 6 people that got a Series X specifically for backwards compatibility.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's why they got the system.
Yes.
So
100% why.
So this again, it's a really good idea.
Yeah,
From
well,
GameStop.
I mean, if you're gonna have a backwards compatible system, like you gotta having somewhere to go buy the games that are backwards compatible is helpful.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to full digital.
Yeah.
I'm really loving it because my 2 oldest kids, are getting into some of the stuff that I was into and some stuff that I wasn't into. They both love Sonic. And I've mentioned before that I just never played Sonic. I didn't have Sega systems as a kid. So we picked up a couple of Xbox 360 Sonic games from Game Exchange to use on our Series X.
Nice.
And it's really cool because I'm experiencing those for the first time. They love it. Yeah.
Very cool. We've got a lot more news to cover.
Oh,
we're running out of time. So Ryan, I don't know. Do you have anything else?
I do not have any more.
Okay. So I've got other stuff that I want to cover, that I want to talk about. And we are
roll on.
We have. This episode's going to go a little long. So, congratulations. Bonus time. So in Nintendo world. So I want to hover on this for a little bit. 2 things from Nintendo. There is a rumor going around that Nintendo is letting accessory developers touch the Switch 2. Touch it. They cannot see it.
What?
Wait. So,
this is the rumor that I...
So they're like blindfolded and they can feel the console, but
like
they...
a fine dining experience.
It's in a box. It's in a box.
You can shake the box.
You can reach into the box and you can touch it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But
okay.
you cannot see the Switch 2.
It probably feels like a Switch Lite.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. But that's the rumor that the accessory developers.
I love it.
It's great.
Accessory developers have been allowed to touch the Switch 2 but not actually see it. I love Nintendo.
So the idea being that they can start developing plans for accessories without
knowing,
spoiling the surprise. Huh.
Nintendo is so close, plays everything so close to the chest.
I can't wait for the leaks.
Like,
Nintendo leaks are my favorite.
They are
thing.
great. They are so great.
Because they're so mad about it. They're so salty about leaks.
Yeah, they are so close to the chest on everything, and they don't want anything to get out. It's amazing. But good for them. I don't know. It's just one of those really weird rumors that goes around. And I'm just like, I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I want to talk about it.
I hope it's true.
Right.
I hope it's true.
I just love the image I came away from that with.
I don't know what accessories we're talking about developing, because it's not unless we're talking this is Wii level stuff where it's there's gonna be the different motion control stuff. I don't know.
It was fun.
It was amazing. I've been playing a lot on the Wii lately. So.
I'm just getting
Switch lightsabers, man. That's where it's at.
I'm getting this image of you've seen those videos where people reach into a box and they don't know what it is. Is it a snake or a bird or a basketball? People are reaching into this box.
Touching live squid. Be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Wrong box. On
the less bizarre side of things that Nintendo is doing, they're opening a Nintendo museum, and that opens October 2nd.
I remember hearing about
Kyoto.
that. Yeah, I remember hearing about
field
that.
trip.
Right.
Retro GameStop. Kyoto.
All right,
Immediately afterwards, we're going to Kyoto.
We really are going to need the sponsors to pick up
We definitely
massively.
Right, yes. We need the sponsorships big time because that's going to take me out of work for a
We
little
could probably
bit.
get there by sundown if we left now.
Well, we'd have to hang around until October 2nd.
He didn't specify sundown of
So-
which day.
Right.
That it would be sundown on a day.
Start walking, boys.
Oh, and it's, so let's see. Yeah, it's scheduled for October 2nd, and you have to be like the first people in, you have to win the lottery. So...
Or have a really cool podcast.
So, hey, Nintendo. Come on, like, let us in.
I mean, Nintendo, we have a track record
We do.
of really singing your praises.
That's
so,
true.
I mean,
At some point,
you obviously need some good press. So, like, we could be that for you.
you know, we're pretty big in the podcast world. So,
Oh my gosh.
you know, I think we put out a good product, but
Speaking of this, okay, this is just off topic now. My wife and I were talking the other day about way back in season 1 when my son was like, "Is it like the Office Ladies?" And we were talking about how much
Yes.
better we are than the Office
Yes.
Ladies. And
Yes.
I, just for fun, I looked the other day at how many like ratings, like, you know how you can go and give like a star review. The Office Ladies have like 50,000 people who have
My
clicked
God.
like 4 or 5 stars on their show.
So,
We have 9.
okay, so that's the thing. That's the thing. I know you're all out there. I know you're all listening. We need more ratings on the iTunes thing.
Yes,
like,
we do.
give us more ratings. Like, that's what we're missing. We need all of the ratings.
I should say that the Office Ladies and our rating are almost identical.
Yeah.
It's like 4.8 and 4.6.
See, like,
They just have 41,000 more
Yeah.
than we do, or 49,999 more than we do.
So like, what's wrong, people?
What are
Come
you
on.
doing?
You gotta start doing the stuff. You have to rate.
Do all the things.
Do all the things.
right.
See, and we're not even done, and we're telling you to do all the things.
Yeah.
So, but that's very true.
Amazing.
If you have not left a review, it does really actually help. If you do, on whatever platform you're listening, but Spotify and iTunes are the most helpful because those are the 2 biggest platforms for people to listen to podcasts. So, go give us a rating. I guess this will be the. I think this is the last thing I've got. This is more up Ryan's alley.
Here we go.
But 2K and Gearbox have announced Borderlands 4 coming out on PS5 and the Xbox Series X and on Steam in 2025.
I'm really gonna have to play Borderlands 3, aren't I?
Yeah, I know.
I've never played. Just never got around to it.
Oh, see, I still haven't. I played that one night that you,
Oh,
Matt, and I all
we did-
played.
we did
played
play.
for a while.
It's so fun.
That's as far as I've made it. So I haven't played. I've never played the Borderlands beyond that. So
It's so fun.
And then the Borderlands movie has crashed and burned.
Okay, so
apparently.
I a minute ago when you asked if I had anything else, I almost mentioned it,
Yeah.
but it was like, it's.
So
it's
did
not-
you go see it?
I have not seen it
Okay.
yet. What was the words that Daniel used about the
Keep the channel clear.
the Age of Empires mobile game?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Apprehensive.
that and what
Suspicious.
else? And
Suspicious,
suspicious. That's
yeah.
been me all along with
Yeah.
the Borderlands movie. Like,
Don't
I
hurt
don't
me like this again.
I don't foresee a situation where I walk away from that anything other than disappointed. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll wait till
Yeah.
I can view it for free,
Yeah.
or stream or whatever.
No,
'cause-
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no. So I'm not a big Borderlands fan, but I thought a new Borderlands game was like that's pretty big news.
yes,
and
that
pretty
is
exciting.
big news.
Hopefully it lives up to all of the hype and is better than the movie is apparently that none of us have seen.
If you're like Josh and you have not played Borderlands, you should.
So I own it.
It's
digitally.
fantastic. Borderlands 2 is just
Gosh.
so awesome.
If you own it digitally, you
I don't own it. That's true. I only bought it digitally so that I could play with Matt and Ryan, though. So
We played for one night.
we played one night, and I paid like $5 for it. Like, it was cheap. You know, it was on sale.
There was a good sale when we bought it. I do remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but yeah. So, anyway, anyone else? Any other news? Anything else we got?
Nope, I didn't even know about Borderlands 4. I'm gonna have to go read about it.
And you know, we didn't even run over. I was afraid that we were going to. So sorry, we lied about the bonus time. You don't get the bonus time after all. So this is probably a little longer than usual, though. So yeah, maybe a little bonus time. I don't know.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you are welcome. You know, and as a reward for us for being so kind to you, why don't you go and give us a rating, and also do all the other things like and subscribe and share and tell your friends, and I don't know, just please.
Yeah.
I think we put out a good podcast. It would be nice if we could get some extra people listening. That'd be cool, I think.
I agree.
So
Go on your smartphone, find our podcast, click the share button, and copy the link to Facebook and Twitter and X and all the other places that you
Tic-tac.
mindlessly scroll. Just put us out there.
Yeah. Also, if you have both Spotify and iTunes, you can subscribe on both.
Hey now.
And no
Okay.
one will tell.
No one will tell.
That's right.
Okay, we might be a little getting a little overboard here. Anyway, we're having fun, so that's all that matters. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate your ears, appreciate your time. If you like this episode, please do all the things though for real. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
Bye.
See ya.